Hello, Jim.
Hello. Hello, Ilona. How are you today?
I'm very well. How are
Good.
you?
Doing well. Doing well. It's good to
Great.
see you.
Well, it's been 2 weeks since our last conversation, so I'm really curious and excited to see what you noticed and how it went.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
maybe
has
we
been
can start from that. Just
okay.
tell me
Yeah, it
a
has
little
been a
bit
little while,
about.
hasn't it? Oh,
Mhm.
sorry. Um, so yeah, she asked me to notice that things are just happening, uh, that my thoughts are happening without my instigation, I suppose we could say. Um, and that's weird. Um, it's been kind of weird. I will admit that. Uh, that I can easily see that these thoughts are just kind of bubbling up to the surface. They're just kind of coming up. They're just appearing. And uh, sometimes I feel like I'm very much in control of those thoughts, like that I'm the one creating, guiding, whatever. And then other times when I'm quiet, especially, uh, they just show up. They're just there.
Okay, and let's say like in over these 2 weeks, do you have any challenges and how how were your responses or reactions to the challenges? Like were they the same like before or something a little bit different? Curious about that.
I had a uh, a family matter that didn't really concern me that I had to take care of. And I have to go into this place and I have to make payments every month for them. And they're going to be waiving these fees for me and say, okay, you're not going to pay us anymore because you've been taking care of this. And we're just going to like take care of this for you. And I was supposed to go to this court date and I totally thought it was next month and I didn't go. So they said, so a friend of mine calls me up and says, hey, there's a warrant for your arrest, which is so funny. I mean, not funny. It's like, what? What are you talking about? I'm like a good citizen. I do the good things. I'm a good person. And he says, well, listen, just go take care of this. Tell them that this is ridiculous. They shouldn't be doing this, first of all. And, just let them know that this is what's going to happen. And they'll take care of it for you. And the warrant will go away because you really shouldn't have a warrant for your arrest. So to make a long story short, I was driving down the road and I saw these lights behind me and I was like, what is going on here? And then they turned them off and I thought, am I being am I being followed? And then I was like, you know what? Just you're doing fine. Just keep on driving. So I'm just driving. I take a right, I take a left, they're following me. Finally they pull me over. And I pull into the parking lot, hand him the paper from the court saying, hey, look, this guy shouldn't have a warrant out for his arrest. This was an oversight, whatever. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, but I could get arrested.
Mhm.
And I don't know what it's like for everybody else in the world, but in America, when you get arrested, they put your picture in the paper and everybody sees your picture and they say, this person was arrested, even if it's like for nothing. It's like, you know,
Right.
like,
You just get arrested and you get your picture put in the paper and everyone like, oh, look at him.
yeah. So that's what's going on in my head. What's going on in my head is, wow, my face, my name, my parents' names, my siblings' names. They'll be in not their names, but my name, which is their last name. Will be in the paper if I get arrested. So this guy pulls me over and I give him the paperwork, I give him my ID, and I'm sitting in my car in this parking lot. And I'm just looking out the window. And I notice that my heart is beating a little faster. then I noticed this thought that's like, oh my goodness, this can't be happening. And I just went, thought. That's just a thought. And I became very curious about what's going to happen next. I was freaking out. And then and it's taken a long time. He's in his car for a long time. And I am I'm not freaking out. I'm staying incredibly calm. And I'm noticing it. I'm noticing my thoughts. I'm noticing things that are arising in my mind. And all I could really, really hold on to was this curiosity of what's going to happen next. The funny thing is that when he came back and said, okay, everything's fine, you're fine, you're good to go. There's no, the warrant's been retracted and you're fine. There was this little thing inside of my head that was like, oh, darn, that would have been really interesting, wouldn't it? And I was like, no, no, that would have been bad. And then I was like, well, would it have been? I don't know, maybe. Mm. And so I noticed this. That is not the way I normally would react to that situation. Normally, I would be freaked out. My heart would be pounding. I'd be shaking. I'd be like, oh my gosh, because I didn't know. He could have said, no, actually, you're going to come down to the station with me. Yeah. So that could have happened. So it was interesting to me that as I noticed, as I became aware, because that's what happened. I took a deep breath. I just kind of followed my breath for a moment. And then the thoughts started popping up. And I just recognized them for what they were. And there wasn't fear. The fear just kind of washed away. I guess there was a little bit of fear. There's still fear there. Mm-hmm. But it was just a recognition of fear. It was like I saw that it was there, but I wasn't identifying with it at all. I identified with this state of wonder, curiosity, which that's another thought, I suppose.
Very interesting. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing. Okay, and now let's bring attention to today. And let's see what's cooking. We can sit a little bit with the eyes closed or open, just to settle in, relax. With an open invitation, whatever needs to come up or wants to be talked about, noticed, explored, everything is welcome.
I did think of a short thing that you might want to have on here. So I have an electrician who's been working on my house because I had some bad some wiring. It's an older home, and he was saying, well, we're going to have to cut some holes here. We're going to have to figure out where the wiring's going and where it's coming from. It's not labeled very well. So we're going to have to cut some holes in your ceiling. And I was like, okay. And he just, eventually, one day he said to me, why are you so calm about all this? I said, what? He goes, well, if this were my house, I'd be freaking out. And I said, well, that's interesting. I don't know. Is that what most people do? They're kind of freaking out. And he goes, well, at least a little bit. He goes, but you just seem really chill about all of this. And I said, well, I suppose you could probably thank meditation for that. And I didn't go into it with him, but I mean, I did notice often while he was at my home that he would say something to me and his thought would be like, oh, how much money is that going to cost? Um, and I would notice it just as thought, um, and just say, well, you know, it reminds me of something that Alan Watts always said. He says, well, not always, he said it once that I know of. He said, when I go to the grocery store and I have this big thing of groceries and I get my bill at the very end, I don't say, oh, look at all this money I spent. He says, I say, wow, look at all these groceries I got. And it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. It's like, hey, I'm getting something fixed that needs to be fixed, and it needs to happen. It's this just not resisting what is.
That's such a great example. Yeah, wonderful. It's great to be able to stay calm and see everything from
Yeah,
a place of curiosity rather than fear.
Yes, because the fear is there. It still pops up, but it's this the space that's created. Well, the space that's recognized, I should say.
And all this self, no self, separate entity, has that became clearer? How do you see it now?
I know that I've said this before. So intellectually speaking, we're not talking intellectually speaking though. We're talking about what have I noticed? What am I seeing?
Yeah, we can just look right now. I mean, it's not something fresh, not from memory. Like, how does it look right now?
Well, right this moment, it looks like this. Oh my goodness, what are you going to say? You have a camera in your face and people are watching eventually. That's what's happening. That's what's happening in my head. And so I just said, hey, just take a breath. And, and I'm well aware. I mean, it feels like there's a separate self. I mean, it feels like it very much so, especially right now. I think more so right now than what it did 20 minutes ago. I sit with intention. The thought of a separate self is quieter. And if I sit long enough with intention, it can absolutely dissolve. It's funny. I say dissolve, but it doesn't dissolve. It's just like this, trying not to use words that I hear a billion times, but I mean, it's just like it appears, or like that it unveils. That's the word I was trying to avoid, but it's just it, it's this the deeper, I want to say deeper understanding, but it's not even that either. It's just this it's a simplicity of, of seeing what actually really is. But I got to be very conscious of that. But it happens quickly.
Would you say that this separate self, something that comes and goes?
It feels like it.
Was the separate self ever here?
Well, the thought was there. I mean, thoughts happen. And so the thought of a separate self was definitely there. That's the illusion. That's the, like, that's it. It's that it's a thought. Is it a real thing? Is it a real separate thing? No, no. I mean, how could it be? Really? Right? You're like, I see these spinning in your head. But no, it's more, it's not spinning. It's like, oh, it's just it's funny because right now I feel exactly like I did at the end of the last video. I feel like that it's this simple seeing. It's really easy to get caught up into the story. It's very easy to get sucked into that, I mean, 50 years of seeing life this way, of experiencing life that way, and seeing everybody else live that way. It's the powerful illusion.
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit like, having sunglasses. So when you put your sunglasses on, everything looks brown. Right? It's not that the world is brown, people are brown. It's just the tint of the glasses. And once it's taken off, everything is the same, nothing changes. It's just that tint, that coloring came off. Right? So if you look at this idea of a separate self, me here, they are there, are entities running their own show. And if you look through these glasses, everything looks, affected by it. But once that idea is challenged, once it's recognized out, it's just a filter. The mind wraps everything up in this narrative about me being separate, them being separate, everyone running their own show. Without that filter, it's what is here, what has always been here. It's just that narrative is no longer there. The story is no longer believed.
Right. Yeah. I went to a concert this weekend, and there's hundreds of people, and I'm in the front row, and it is loud and it's intense, and it's pretty awesome, right? And I had these moments of just feeling like everything was absolutely just one. Like, the whole crowd. I mean, you've got this, this crowd, you've got everything's kind of going at once. The music, it's all absorbing. And then my friend she kind of touched my hand, and it was like I was in this place of like total, like this, totally just in one with, recognizing that everything's one. And then all of a sudden there's this distraction from, like, something reaching and kind of pulling me into this separation, right? Um, and I wrote about it later, and it was like this recognition that everything was one, but that there was room in that oneness uh, to experience the separation. That was an interesting thought, that 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 experiencing things is part of the human experience. I think that was really the first time that I was able to peacefully embrace this idea in my mind of separateness, alongside with a sense of unity with everything.
Mm.
And that was actually, even though it was this sweaty, loud environment, I was able to experience that. And that was actually very enlightening, shall we say.
All inclusive.
Yeah, exactly.
There is a room for individuality. There is a room for uniqueness, for the boundary of the, what we call body.
And it doesn't negate the idea of unity. It doesn't,
Right.
it doesn't negate the oneness. It's in the brain. It just feels like it does. It feels like it does. It seems like it does. If you want to reason with it, then yeah, it definitely feels like it negates it, but it doesn't. And this is seen for sure.
Mm.
But like I said, it's that being aware. So even though I was in the midst of a very loud concert, even though I was in the midst of there's a lot of what we would call chaos, I was present. And that's what it is. It's presence. It's being present. I can just see that everything's just happening.
Wonderful.
But I can get sucked out of that presence real fast.
Well, something else arises in that presence.
You're right. You're right.
It's not like presence disappears. The attention shifts to something else. And that presence is no longer in the foreground, it's in the background, like usual.
Yeah, it's just where my seat of awareness is, basically. Like what I'm paying attention to, what I'm, yeah. And that's known. Like I know this. I'm easy. I can. It sounds funny to say what I'm going to say. That I'm just going to say it. It seems easy to move into that. It seems easier to move into that recognition. I'm trying to say it in a way that's that makes sense. It wasn't always so easily seen. But I have experienced it even before I started meditating. And I see that now too. Like I remember moments of intense presence. You jump out of an airplane, which I've never done, but you jump out of an airplane, you're present. You're not you're you're not thinking about a problem unless your shoe's not opening. Then you're thinking of a problem. And those moments of intense presence come much easier now. And with it, an awareness of what's actually happening. I had another moment this week I forgotten about. I was with a friend of mine. We were walking downtown, and we talk about a lot of stuff, so it wasn't weird for me to say this to him. I just said, "Man, do you ever feel like you're in a dream?" And he's like, "Well, what do you mean?" And I said, "I don't know. It doesn't seem real to me right now. Nothing seems very real to me right now." Like, what do you mean? I said, "I don't know." I said, I mean, obviously I know I'm awake, but I felt very, very present, and I felt like I was just watching everything around me happen. And I suppose that's, um, at the time, I didn't really think too much about it. I just noticed how it felt like it was a dream. And it was like that for quite a long time. I'd say probably about an hour. and, and no, it was the morning. I wasn't drunk. I wasn't, I, I, I just felt this, it wasn't a scary feeling. It was just like otherworldly. Actually, it felt very interesting. So that happened.
Sounds like cool experience.
Yeah, I guess it was definitely interesting. It actually that does happen to me from time to time. I think everybody has that time to time where they feel like, like this doesn't feel real, or they have a deja vu or something like that. But to me, it seemed very related to this whole desire to see what is real.
Okay, and in your own words, in your own way, what is real? What's your today's definition of real? It may change. So let's see today. What is real?
All right. That is a really difficult question for me. My brain's going all over the place. I'm just kind of watching it. I'm like, I could say that what is real is what is experienced, but then I can go, no, that's not true. Because illusions happen. When someone shows you an illusion, you experience it, but then you find out it wasn't real. Sure, I could say camera's real, this my water here is real. I can taste it. It refreshes me. But I guess when you ask what is real, my answer would be, well, everything that is. This is real.
Hmm.
And if I want, see, this was interesting. So this is real. And then the brain naturally wanted to go, the camera is real, the buffet here is real, your water is real, the table is real, Ilona is real. and a gentle reminder that this is real. This is the fact that I'm experiencing, the fact that I'm aware of this, that I'm conscious of this, that is real.
Ah, yes, very nice.
I mean, there's obviously something here. You can touch it, you can touch it. So that's just part of this. That's here. That's real. I don't know, the scientific details, the breakdown of everything, and I don't need to. It's just that this is happening. This is.
It's pretty much that.
I know I'm very skeptical of things, and so my brain, this brain in this head, is constantly wanting to want it to analyze everything. I'm looking around because there's a lot of stimulation out here, and I'm looking at different objects and noticing that my brain goes, well, that's real. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But then my brain goes, yeah, but is it really that color? Do colors exist? Does anything exist? My brain starts going all these different directions.
Well, that is why it's very good to have a definition, because when you say, I want to know what is real, like, first of all, you need to know what you're looking for. Like, what's the definition? What is real? Because without the definition, that is working definition for today, then it's like not even knowing what you're looking for.
Okay, I'm looking for that which is truth. It's like, what is actually what is actually real? Like, what is actually it's hard to define that.
I like two definitions of real depending on conversation. Like, first definition is that I like is real is that which is not imagined. Like, there is reality to this that is here. Let's say if I imagine that this wall behind me is soft and I can put hand through, it doesn't work. It's not. That's the reality. It's not imagined. I can imagine all I want. It's here as it is. It's not. I don't need to imagine the sensation. It shows up. So this is one definition. Another definition is that I like is that which does not change. Because everything changes, right? Well, the show is changing. The experience is always changing. The perception's changing. And there is this being or knowing, or even if you call it life or existence or God or whatever word that works, that is not changing.
Did you say you had 3, or did you say you had a couple?
Couple for now.
I was going, well, where's the third one? When you said that about touching the wall. So I'm a lucid dreamer. So I love experimenting with my dream world. And that's one of the things that you do when you're awake to, you ask yourself constantly, you say, am I awake? Am I dreaming? Is this a dream? Like when you're awake, you ask yourself, is this a dream? And one of the things that I do is I'll put my hand and I'll push it against the wall, or I'll push it against my own hand, or I'll do these things. We call it a reality check, which is so funny because you're talking to me about what is real. So you literally do something in your waking life to challenge, to show yourself that you're awake. Then when you're dreaming, you'll end up doing it in your dream. And so when you're dreaming, you'll go, am I dreaming? Well, I'll do a reality check. And you go to put your hand through the wall and it will just go right through the wall. And then you realize you're dreaming. Now, so that's funny that you use that illustration because it really resonates with me.
But look at this. In the dream, there is also dream reality.
There is a dream reality in the dream, but the only thing of substance in the dream is the awareness.
Right.
Everything else is just dream stuff.
It's just funny you talk about dreams. Sometimes I have a dream like, okay, I jump up and I fly. I just go up and down, like, you know, things you do in a dream. And then it's like, this must be a dream, you know, because I can do this. But then thought comes in and says, no, well, this is reality. This is how it is. So it's saying that this is reality. It's not a dream. Because in the dream, I can fly, but this is real. Thereof, this is reality.
Yeah, I do think about this a lot.
Okay, so where do you look for reality?
The real.
Yeah, what is real right now?
I mean,
what do you look for it?
Well, I liked your definition and I've heard it before. I just didn't really think of it at the moment, but that, you know, that which isn't imagined. So, I mean, to give it a little picture, I suppose right now, I might think that you're thinking something. I might think that, I might think that you're having a thought about me or about my lighting or about whatever, you know, whatever. But that's just imagined. I mean, I have no idea what's going on in your head. I have none, zero. But we live in this world where we constantly are projecting our thoughts onto other people. Constantly. It's a never ending thing. And actually, now that I think about it, we do it with objects too. We do it with everything. We're constantly projecting onto every single thing that I should say it's human nature to project onto everything. I suppose that in and of itself creates this separate sense of self. I mean, really, right? And I think that is a big part of that. So what do I want? I want what's real. I don't want what's projected. I don't want what is imagined. I mean, I don't mean that I don't want it, but I mean is I want to see past the illusion, past that which is not real. Which we're back at that word real again. So
okay, so
that which is
what is here without thoughts then? What is here besides thinking?
being. Like I know I'm alive of some, you know, I know that's real.
Right.
And that's real for you. That's real for everybody, I think. I mean, I just know it's real for me.
Yeah.
I know it's real from my own understanding, I suppose.
So you don't really need to look for it. It's always here. It's not hiding. It's not hidden. Is it abstracted? It's beingness, aliveness.
Well, that is never obstructed. A being is, you're always being. I mean, when you sleep, I suppose there's moments of unconsciousness in there, right? But otherwise, when you are conscious, that's what is real. See what my brain did? It like took this, well, what about all the time? Is it all the time? What about when you're unconscious?
Well, maybe you're just conscious of nothing, aware of nothing. Like when you are in a deep sleep, there's nothing, no mind, no body, no emotions, no colors, no sound. Just awareness of nothing. And yet if a door bells, you wake up. There's awareness.
Mm-hmm. That's true. There is awareness. If something happens that is not expected, then you'll wake up. Now the trains going by my house won't wake me up because I'm conditioned to them. But the doorbell ringing in the middle of the night definitely would wake me up. So yeah, there is still awareness. But that's, I mean, now that I think my whole thought pattern, that was not really constructive. I mean, just the fact that I'm aware, and this is something I've known for an incredibly long time, that's the only thing that I truly know. Probably said this every time we talked. But the only thing I know, the only thing that I know is that I'm aware.
So we found what's real.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I love that you said we found it. Hmm.
It's always fun to ask, do you need to do anything to be in order to be?
Definitely not.
Do you need to know anything in order to be?
No,
Do you need to struggle to hold on to something in order to be?
no,
Can you stop being for fun?
no. That's hilarious. You said for fun, right?
Yeah, for
So she
fun.
said,
Yes.
what did you do today? Oh, I stopped being for fun. It was great. My mind, well, I was thinking, well, maybe you can stop being for fun. This is what the thought was. It's so silly. And I was like, well, no, that's not. Even if you're at a state of like ego death or, you know, a heightened state of or whatever, you're in Buddha mind, whatever, you're still being. They're still being. The being does not stop ever. I mean, maybe when you're dead, but we don't know that, do we? So So I mean that's what's real. And it's the one thing that never changes.
Right.
And I know that there's something to see there. And sometimes I see it. It's funny, it's when I try to see it is when I don't see it.
Yes, because that
Because
trying is
yeah,
already a step
yeah,
away from it.
yeah,
One thing is
exactly.
already a step away from it.
Yeah, as soon
So
as you try to see it,
yeah,
it's like you're doing mind stuff. Now you're doing, yeah,
yes, that's how the whole searching is. Like rather than going inwards and gently noticing what is already here, it goes out trying to get there. It's impossible. You don't go into noticing through effort.
right.
It's effortless. So any
Yeah,
effort,
Ilona,
any step is away. It's just
yeah, I
not
see that
not seeing it.
because even talking to you today, I've had these moments of uh, being able to see, being able to see. Um, it makes me laugh when I like when I notice that I'm noticing that which is real. It makes me laugh. I don't know why. Um, I guess because I see the absurdity in the usual thought patterns, the usual way that I see things. So it just kind of makes me laugh because it is funny.
Yes, it's called a cosmic joke, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I've heard that many times, but I guess I never really put those two things together. But yeah, it is. And yeah, the harder you try to see it, and that's why I said it's about presence. It's it's about being present. To me, that's the experience that I have noticed is that in moments of deep presence, it is easily seen that there's no separate self, that, oh, this is one.
Yeah, and in those moments, it's not even a question. Like there's no question. The question is just not there.
No, and if a question
Irrelevant.
arises, and if a
Mhm.
question arises, it starts to, it, it's like if I give attention to that thought, then it feels like either there's two different things that happen. Either I will notice it as thought, and when I notice it as thought, then nothing changes. I just, oh, thought is a thought. Or it starts to dissolve. It's like I get caught up in the thought, and I start ruminating about, oh, well, what about this and what about that and what about this. But if I just stay in a state of openness, that's been the word that's been with me all week,
Mhm. Mhm.
is openness and love and
Oh,
openness, which is funny because I'm not one of those woo woo people. That's what I say. I was very religious at one time in my life, and uh, I don't mean that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that that was my experience, and so I tend to shy away from those things. I tend to, oh, well, that's not real, and it's not what I want in my life, blah blah blah. And so anytime I hear people say, well, everything is love, I always go, what do you mean everything's love? How can everything be love? Like, what does that even mean? Like, wouldn't everything be just whatever, just is? But it's like I'm getting this new definition of what I think love means. And I just think love means openness.
wow.
I think love is just openness. And And that is what I'm experiencing when I get the chills, when I'm in a deep, open state of mind. But yeah, I'll embrace that woo-woo stuff any day.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
because
I would say there is a sense of sweetness, or just allowing. There's no resistance. Just
yeah, exactly.
openness.
Because all of it is relevant. All of it is relevant and all of it is irrelevant. Um, it all just whatever, whatever. It's like this openness of and I think that's how I felt that day when I said I was downtown with my friend. It just felt very open. Yeah, that word just keeps coming back. In like every area of my life too.
Wow.
That's what the curiosity is. Curiosity is just open.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
A sense of wonder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what this is, but look at this. Look at this.
And I've always had that. I mean, I have ever since I was little, you know. My father always told me to stop and smell the roses, you know, as the saying
Mm-hmm.
goes. But he would show me,
How lucky you are.
you know, he would show me, hey, we need to stop. Check this out. Look at this. Look at that ant. Look what he's carrying. Isn't that amazing? Look what's happening here, you know. And so I've always had that deep sense of wonder of what in the world is going on. And now it's more of a openness. It's like a, I don't know what's going on, but look at it, isn't it just wonderful? Even that my house is being torn apart by an electrician, it's wonderful. My house didn't burn down. That's cool. And it doesn't even matter because even if it did, something else would have happened and then something else would have happened and who knows? It's all just openness.
It's a good place to stop, to end here for today. With this openness and wonder.
Give me a challenge.
A challenge?
Give me a homework assignment. No, I'm just being silly.
Have fun.
That's it. I can do that. That's the best homework assignment I've ever had.
Yeah, have fun.
Okay. Well, thank you.